Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial video here. On the last episode we covered World Guard, but we also installed but didn't cover World Edit. Now World Edit, as far as configuration is concerned, is very straightforward. There should be little to nothing you need to change in the configuration file of World Edit. However, there are an awful lot of commands that can be used in-game, and if I'm completely honest, I don't know or use half of them, but I'm going to go over some of the more basic ones for you guys that some of you may already be aware of. We'll cover the configuration file very briefly. Like I said, there shouldn't be much, if anything, you need to change in here. But in the World Edit folder, you've got one file, which is config.yml. So if we open this file up, you can see it's not very big at all. The only thing really that you may want to consider changing in here is logging. There's a file called worldedit.log which logs every command of worldedit that's used, basically. Now, it's by default it's set to false. You may want to set that to true if you want to keep habit of your admins or your mods wanting ability, tasks. Super pickaxe, you can enable or disable this. By default it's enabled, and it's drops items. So if somebody uses a super pickaxe on a stone, it'll drop the appropriate cobble block, and likewise for sandstone, etc. If you set that to false, super pick will not drop items. It's optional, it's up to you. If you don't want admins or mods using it to actually mine and get the benefit of a super pickaxe, you can disable that there. The only other thing you might want to change or be aware of is the directory for schematics, which, I mean, we don't have one right now, but normally it's in the main root of your Minecraft folder, and there'd be a directory here called, we can create it manually, called schematics. So where were we? Okay, wooden axe. That's the tool for majority of the World Edit commands, and like I say, I'm not going to cover them all, guys. There's probably over 100, and to be honest, like I say, I don't know them all. I will be putting a link in the description below with a list of all the commands and what they're used for. But some simple ones first of all, as I'm sure many of you have seen. You can use this wooden axe. Left click sets first position, and right click sets second position. And you use this to select areas, and you have to select the diagonal corners. So for example, let's say we want to make a house here using World Edit. Right, say we want this area inside these purple corners, pink corners, to be our house. There's several commands that you can use to do it. You can either, let's do it a few different ways. For example, you can either do one wall at a time, which is obviously the longest way of doing it. But what you would do is you would left click on one section and right click on the other, and you need to do the opposite corners. So this one's on the ground level. That is the first one I clicked is going to be the highest point. So let's say we want a smooth brick or a nether brick wall. Say you do 2 forward slashes. Most of World Edit commands are 2 forward slashes. So you do 2 forward slashes set, and then the block number, or the block, either the block ID or the block name. Personally, I'm a block ID person, so I'm going to use the ID. And there we go. We've got a 3 high wall made of nether brick. Let's get some torches, or alternatively make it daytime. There we go. So that's one way you could make walls. You can use the set command, and the same principle works for the floor. You'd select the opposite corners, and you would do set. We'll have the other type of brick here, set 98, and that will set any block type within that area to whatever block you've defined. Now, there are easier ways of doing it. Another way of doing it, for example, is say we wanted to do 4 walls all around. We could select the lower block with a left click, select the opposite corner upper block with a right click, and you could do 2 forward slashes walls 112, and that will give us 4 walls. By the way, any command that you do with world edit, if you mess it up, it's just 2 forward slashes and undo, and it undoes it all. Obviously, a house normally has a floor and a roof, so there's another command you can do, which is again clicking on the same corners. You would do one left click here, and a right click at the upper section. In fact, let's make this one higher, and you would do 2 forward slashes outline. Let's have sandstone 24, and that will actually make you a sandstone building. As you can see, I dug down a bit too much there, but that will actually make you a sandstone building with 4 walls, a floor, and a ceiling. So those are some of the a few of the common commands that you guys might use. What else have we got? There's loads of other ones. Let's say, for example, we wanted to get rid of the water in this pond. There's a very simple command, and it's drain, and this works on both water and lava. Now, when you do it on its own, it says too few arguments, and what that basically means is that you need to set a radius, or in this particular case, set a radius. So we're gonna, and that will be the radius around your position. We're gonna set a radius of 20. Or actually, let's do a low one first, 5, just so you can see what happens. And that will drain a 5 block radius of liquid, whether it be water or lava, 5 blocks from your location. Obviously, that didn't exactly empty it, so we're going to use a much. We're going to change that to 20, and that's almost emptied the lake. Not quite enough radius, but if we go over here and do the same command again, that will empty the lake for us. So that's a really good way of getting rid of water and lava. Same here. This one's a small little pond, so you could do drain, I don't know, 8, and it's empty. And let's say you want to fill it back up. Let's say you want to fill it up with grass. You could do 2 forward slashes, fill R, which is, the R is recursively. Let's put the command there as well. The next thing you need to specify is the block type. So we're going to do grass, so that's block 2. The radius, let's put it 9 in. It's not much bigger than that. And the depth, 1 block, because it's only 1 block we need filled. And it fills the hole for you. Nice and simple. And like I said, with any command, you can just undo them if you need to. What else do we have? Oh, one of my bugbears. I hate, when you're looking at a pond, I hate like moving water like this. It just kind of looks messy. If you stand in the water, do 2 forward slashes and do fix water space, well, and then a radius. So again, like the drain command, if you just put in 20, that will smooth out all the water in this area. And there's a similar command for lava, which is just simply 2 forward slashes fix lava. Simple as that. World edit can also be used to generate a lot of shapes. For example, you could do let's fly up and do it so that it's in the air. You could make a hollow sphere, and to do that, it's 2 forward slashes, H for hollow, and then sphere, and it'll tell you what you need to define. So you need to put a block type in first. So let's make a glass one, which is block 20, then a radius. We'll put a radius in of 20 with 10. Now that will be, make sure you're in God mode when you do this, because otherwise you'll suffocate. But that will have made a completely solid sphere out of iron. What else do we have? We have cylinders as well, and again these can be both hollow and solid, and the commands are HCYL, short for cylinder, and the command's identical. We can put a block type in, so we'll go for 35. We'll do a radius of 10. That's, as you can see, because I didn't put another parameter in, that's only done 1 block, which isn't exactly what we wanted. So let's undo that. And this time we need to put a height in. So we'll put a height in of 25. And that will do a 25 tall wool cylinder. And again, you can use exactly the same command to make a solid one. but you just drop the H off at the beginning. So that's CYL. And we'll do, I'm not sure if you can do colors. Let's try. 35:6 should be yellow wool. I'm not sure if it'll like that. We'll do a radius of 5 and a height of 3. Yep, it liked the colors. That's fine. So those are some really easy building commands that you can use to make various things. There's also commands like if you do /forest gen. There's only one slash on this, by the way. That will just randomly generate a bunch of trees. You could do /pumpkins. We'll make a little pumpkin patch with wood, logs, and leaves. Let's do another one of those over here. There you go. It's just random. Whoa. Okay, that put a lot of pumpkins in. You've also got commands like snow. Oh, it's one slash on snow, by the way. And that puts down a random patch of snow. And I think you can specify size, like let's do 50 blocks. But laying snow over a large area can be a little bit laggy, so be careful of that. There's also /Thaw, and again you can specify the size, so let's thaw 50 blocks. And that removes the snow in your defined area. Right, now I believe I stopped oh, hang on, let's go and see if we have some animals in our little pen over here, because I think that's the only place that they can spawn, or did I change that? Yeah, we changed that. Yeah, hey buddies. Yeah, they can spawn in here. There's a command if you've got a lot of mobs you want to kill, and this kills friendly and hostile mobs. 2/, sorry, 1/ butcher. And it right, it hasn't killed these guys, and that's simply because I spawned them manually. If you spawn them manually or using mob spawners, the butcher command will not kill them. It only kills mobs that are spawned naturally in the world, just so you know. What else do we have? Oh, another pretty handy one. I'm trying to think of an example you might use it in. Let's make some room here. Okay, let's say we had oops, not that. Let's say we had a building which had 2 types of blocks like this one. Obviously this looks really ugly and terrible, but just bear with me. But say for example after building it you decided, no, do you know what, I don't really like the pink wool. What you could do is if you select the whole area, rather than changing each block individually, if you select the whole area and do / 2 /, sorry, replace 35 being the wool with, let's put glass blocks in instead, with 20. Is it the color, I wonder? I can't remember what the color the pink was. Let's change those blocks. Save me having to look up the color. Let's say we want to change, yeah, let's put cobble in. Everybody knows the code for cobble. We'll just do those 2. Say I wanted to change the cobble without changing them individually. I could do 2/ and then 4, which is the number for cobble, and then 20, which is the number for glass, and it will remove all the cobble within your wanted area and replace it with glass, as you can see. The only reason it didn't work last time is because I didn't put the color code in for that wool, and I didn't know what it was off the top of my head. What else do we have? There's also an awful lot of commands for aiding movement. Like say you've got a wall here with no doors, you could do / through, and it takes you inside, and it says whoosh, which is very nice. You've got /top, which will take you on top of a building. You've got descend, which will take you down to the next floor. You've got ascend, which is kind of similar to top, except it just takes you up 1 level. You have /jump. It goes wherever your cursor is. So if we point at the top of that and do jump, yeah, it jumped us inside here, but that's okay. Yeah, so you can use it to kind of help yourself move around. Replace near is another one as well. Say we wanted to get rid of the grass in the area. We could do 2// replace near and the size. So we want to replace all grass blocks in a 20 block radius. So there's grass blocks, which is block 2, with iron blocks, which is 42. And that replaces all grass blocks in that defined area, which is 20 blocks, with iron. And you can use that for any blocks. And again, as always, you can undo. What else can we show you? Obviously, the schematics as well. Let's use this building then, seeing as we've used it. Say this building was the best thing you've ever built, and you wanted to keep it. If you select the area, and then do /copy, 2// copy, it'll copy it. Now if you do 2// save, save and a name, so we'll call this house, it'll save it as a schematic. And if we go back to our tutorial folder in schematics, you'll now see that we have a schematic called house.schematic. And the good thing about doing that is wherever I am on the server, say I want, say I'm over here, let's go over here. Let's say we want another one of those houses. All you have to do is 2// load and then the file name being house. Now you have to bear in mind when you paste things, which is 2// and paste, you need to be careful of where you're standing. Like say for example you don't want it to face that way, say you want it facing the other way, you can undo that and then do 2// rotate. Let's rotate it 90 degrees and then paste it again, and it's over there now. So you might have to experiment with those things. A lot of the copying and pasting that you see in World Edit just takes a little bit of time to work out how it works. Once you've finished with your schematic, you can do / clear, my caps lock, clear clipboard, so that it removes it from there. And you can only rotate. You can't do like individual degrees. You can rotate 90, 180, 270. That's all you can do as far as I'm aware. I haven't actually tried. Let's rotate 62. Yeah, it must be divisible by 90. So it's only 90, 180, and 270 that you can remove. Now, another good example is, do you know what I hate seeing on a multiplayer server are beaches that have been pretty much decimated because everybody's dug up the sand and it's just like a rocky area. So let me get some TNT again. I don't think I disabled it. We'll soon find out. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I thought you could light it. Let's just do that. Yeah, I didn't disable it. Let's just imagine this is our area that was all messy and people have dug it out and just left it in a mess. If you select the area with a wand, so you need to select one corner, the top, the highest point, and let's go back a bit. Sometimes you have to place blocks down to get the corners that you want, but that's okay. And then right click on the lowest point in the opposite corner, and you can do, oh god, if I could jump up to show you, you can do 2// and regen. And that will, okay, I missed a bit there with my selection, but that will regen the area. Be careful again when you're doing it in large areas, it does cause quite a lot of lag. So bear that in mind. What else can we show you? Toggle wand, yeah. I mean, that is really majority of the commands that you probably use on a day-to-day basis. The ones I find myself using most are, oh, one more command. Sometimes these items that are sitting on the floor, like these blocks, XP orbs as well, boats, you know, anything that's dropped on the floor. if there's a lot of them, they can cause lag. So there's a few commands that you can do, like / remove items -1. Now, what that will do is remove any items that are just floating on the floor. And the -1 tells it to do it server-wide. If I put in 500, it would only do that for 500 blocks in my area. But by putting in -1, it'll remove them all throughout the server, and it'll tell you how many entities it's removed. You can also do remove XP -1, which removes all XP orbs that are on the floor. And you can do other things like remove boats -1 if you don't want people's boats just lying around for ages. What else do we have? And like I say, those are the main ones. I mean, obviously you've got copy, cut, paste. You can flip as well, just kind of like rotate. You can also, right, okay, this will be the last command, and this one's a little bit more confusing. Say you wanted to make a floor. Have we got a big flat area here somewhere? Oh, we'll just use this. It doesn't have to be that big. So let's say you've got a floor and you wanted to make it randomly different materials. Okay, that's our floor. Now you can use the set command. So let's say we wanted to make it sandstone, but you can actually set percentages. So let's say we'll do 60. If I can find the keys, 60% 24. Then do a comma, and then we'll do 20% 89, which is glowstone, and then what have we got left? We've got another 20% left. 20%. Iron blocks again, 42, and that will randomly generate according to those percentages, and you can do that with as many as you like. I mean, obviously we've only put 3 block types there, but if I change that 10% to 42, and then another 10% to I don't know, 98, and you can have as many of those as you want. So you can make some random. I mean, obviously, the bigger the area, the more random the pattern looks. And you can set, define whatever percentages you want in those. If you want randomly patterned areas, or if you're creating an area with, where you want natural glowstone lighting that's random, and you can do it with that. But that's it, guys. Like I said, I mean, there's an awful lot of commands. I haven't gone over most of them. There's a link in the description to go over the rest of them, but the easiest way to learn things like World Edit is just to use them, practice with them. Run a test world like this, copy and paste things, see what each command does. Don't be afraid to use them, as long as you have a backup or you're on a test server. On a busy server, World Edit can cause lag, so be wary of that, especially if you're wanting huge areas. Like for example, this area, let's select this area. Let's say I wanted to do set this whole chunk to air. What I could do, obviously I've only selected these corners, but if I typed in expand vertical, missed a slash, that will select the whole chunk from the top of the sky limit all the way down to bedrock. So let's set that to 0, which is air. Might take a second. Actually, it was really quick. That whole section now is air, and all the way down there is the void, because it's even cleared the bedrock. So be careful. You can put, you can make holes in the bottom of the world with World Edit. So you should be careful about who you give it to. Obviously you've got one more thing. You've got super pick. Let me clear my inventory, which is /ci for those who aren't aware, and put myself back to creative mode. Survival mode. Now there's a few ways you can do that as well, if I haven't gone over it before. There's game mode phunkeymonkeh 0, which sets me to survival, or the easiest way is just to type in GM, and it puts you in between the two. If I type it again, I'm back to survival. Let's also give myself a diamond pick. Now obviously this is a regular diamond pick. I'm going to fly here for a second, but This is a regular diamond pick, which takes regular time to... Oh. Of course I can't fly. And I should really enable that for the purpose of this tutorial. But as you can see, you know, the pick takes a standard amount of time to break blocks, as it should. But if you use super pickaxe, and all to issue that command is just 2 /. It says super pickaxe enabled, and it's basically like creative mode. Everything's instant break. So be careful who you give this to, because another thing to bear in mind is that super pick will bypass spawn protection or any protection you have in place. If you give somebody super pick access, even if they don't have permission to build in spawn, for example, with super pick they can still destroy it. So it's not a good idea to give it to, you know, normal players. If you want them to be able to break things instantly, then, you know, think about you know, creative mode or something like that. It's you have to be careful with it, and people can do a lot of damage with the super pick because it's just so quick at destroying stuff. It eats up stuff. I think I'll leave it there though, guys. I mean, you know, this isn't I haven't covered every single facet of World Edit. It's a, you know, a large plugin that does a lot of really cool things. So the best thing, as I say, is to put it on your server. Have a look at the link in the description and play around with it, experiment, and see how you get on. Like I say, when it comes to copying and pasting, which is what I tend to use World Edit for the most, it's just a case of practicing how to use it, how to position yourself when you're copying and pasting. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Have fun, guys, and thank you for watching as always. The next plugin that we move on to is probably going to be permissions. I think it's about time we did permissions. That video is likely to be 2 or maybe even 3 parts, depending on how complicated, you know, how in depth we go with it. But yeah, we'll do permissions next, and after that, then we'll maybe look at stuff like anti-griefing plugins, permissions plugin. Sorry, not permissions. Anti-cheating and anti-griefing plugins is probably after that then. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. See you next time.